So sometimes you just have these like eureka moments, and I just had one. Because I always read this thing and I'm like, wait, which one is the one where it puts all the indictment counts back together, and which is the one where it doesn't? So this is what it is. When it's a motion for a mistrial, the indictment has all the counts put back in it, period. It doesn't say anything else. Just says motion for a mistrial, all the counts. When it's a deliberating jury and there's jury disagreement, it says any counts that was deemed to be dismissed or were dismissed, or an acquittal or deemed an acquittal. Okay? Then the one for 440, which is vacated judgment, it only says acquittal. So the ones he was deemed to have an acquittal on, they don't put those back in. So 440, acquittal, hung jury, dismissal, or acquittal, and mistrial, nothing. It says all the counts. All right, so the difference between when like all the counts, whatever, this is what it is. Upon a new trial resulting from an order vacating a judgment pursuant to this section, the indictment is deemed to contain all the counts and charge all the offenses which it contained and charged at the time the prior trial was commenced, regardless of whether any count was dismissed by the court in the course of such trial, except 1, those upon or of which the defendant was acquitted or deemed to have been acquitted, and those dismissed by the order vacating the judgment, and C, those previously dismissed by an appellate court upon an appeal from the judgment, or any court upon a prior post-judgment motion. So it does not say a TOD. So basically, when you get the 440 judgment for the new trial, it goes, everything comes back except the stuff that was dismissed by an appellate court, post-judgment dismissal, or an acquittal. Now, that is totally different than what's in 310, I think. 310 is where it is. Okay, so the three, there's two things. There's one in 300. This is talking about every count not submitted to jury is deemed to have been dismissed by the court, where the court, over objection to the people, refused to submit a count which is consecutive as to every count actually submitted. Such count is deemed to have been dismissed by a TOD even though no such order was expressly made. Okay, so then it says discharging jury. So this is the one where it's jury disagreement, mistrial declared, or everyone consents to the discharge. It says, upon the retrial, an indictment is deemed to contain all the counts which it contains except those which were dismissed or were deemed to have resulted in an acquittal. Right, that's that one. Then, on the mistrial one, that was in 310.60, the thing I just read. And now I'm going to go to 280.10, and that's about the mistrial. And this one says, when there's a mistrial declared, upon a new trial resulting from the mistrial, the indictment is deemed to contain all the counts which it contained at the time the prior trial was commenced, regardless of whether any count was thereafter dismissed by the court prior to the mistrial order. So the thing here is, when there's a mistrial, it gets all the counts back. When it's jury disagreement, it's dismissed or acquittal. When it's 440, it's acquittal or appellate or post-judgment dismissals. Okay, so this is in 530, which I have not done yet. But this says where the defendant is at liberty during the pendency of an appeal, and then there's an affirmance of the judgment. The criminal court must, upon at least 2 days' notice to the defendant, the surety, and his attorney, promptly direct defendant to surrender himself to the criminal court in order that execution of the judgment be commenced or resumed, and if necessary, the court may issue a bench warrant to secure his appearance.